Hello student, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are well and fit and fine at your home, and you are watching the all previous video very carefully and try to understand the topic which I have already explained in front of you in my previous lectures. So here in today's lecture we will talk about the next topics of chapter 2, electrostatic potential and capacitance. In this video we will talk here about some important results regarding the electrostatic of conductor, which will very important when you will explain the upcoming derivation, and in the derivation you will see these results are very helpful for you to understand the upcoming result, how we will use the results in our derivation we will see. So here today the topic which I will discuss in front of you is electrostatics of conductor. We will know about the electrostatic and conductor, what they both stands, but here we will talk about some important, today's topic we will discuss here some important results about the electrostatic of conductor, about the electrostatics of conductor. Got it, student? Conductor. Now see, when I will start this topic, the first heading is in front of you. Inside the conductor, electric field is 0. Means here we are talking the condition of a conductor when it is placed in an external electric field. Means that suppose we have a source which is providing some external electric field represented by this format. This is our external electric field E0, having direction from positive charge to negative charge, and inside this I have placed a conductor, and we know that the direction of electric field outside initially we can represent like this. Okay, so this is the direction of electric field, and when the external electric field is set up, we know that the electron will move from their negative charge to positive charge, means opposite to the direction of electric field. And when I placed an conductor, when I place a conductor inside the electric field, we will see that due to induction the opposite charges will also induce in the conductor. Means that here the positive charge is this, so due to induction the negative charge will induced on the side which is closer to the positive terminal, and on the other hand the positive charge will induced on the side or arm which is closer to the negative charge, so that due to polarization one of the electric field which is denoted by EP is induced inside the conductor. Okay, when this electric field is induced inside the conductor having direction opposite to the external electric field, it will be initially E0 is greater than EP. So as we can see that the electron is moving from negative terminal to positive terminal, so as well as the value of EP increases, and during the increment of the value EP, when this value EP approach to the value of E0, when this value EP increases up to value E0, that time we can say that E net is equals to EP minus E0, both are in same condition, so net electric field inside the conductor is 0. Initially when this EP is less than E0, then E net is equals to E0 by minus EP, but as the value of EP increases, so that time the value approach to E naught, and they both were value, both values are equal, so that's why the resultant will be 0. And how it will be? Means when the electric field EP induced inside the conductor, it will oppose the flow of electron which is moving from negative to positive terminal, and as the value of EP increases, it opposes the flow of electron much more. And one condition came after that, in which the flow of electron stopped, and when the flow of electron stopped, that time the EP is equals to E naught, it means that E net is equals to 0. So we can say that in this condition the electric field inside that conductor is 0. Got it? So this is the result and reason why the electric field inside the conductor is 0. So I will write the whole condition in language form. Let E naught be the external electric field, having direction, you can see from the diagram, and the electrons are flowing from negative charge to positive charge in E naught. Got it? In external electric field. Now when the conductor is placed inside it, means when the conductor is placed in electric field, we can say in E naught, then due to induction or due to induction, opposite charges are induced as shown in figure. Clear, student? So when this opposite charges are induced as shown in figure from this side to this, they which produce or which also induced or produce electric field EP inside it, which opposes the flow of electron, means when this electric field is induced, when the electric field is induced inside the conductor which opposes the flow of electron, and hence it stops the flow of electrons as on increasing, or as increases, we can say. As well as the value of EP increases, it will stop the flow of electron. In this time, in this condition, when the flow of electrons stop, EP is equals to E naught, means EP is equals to E naught. It implies E net is equals to E naught minus EP, which is equals to 0. Means the condition in which the electric field inside the conductor and the external electric field both have same value, that time the net electric field inside the conductor is 0. Here E net, we can say E net is net electric field inside the conductor. Got it? First condition is inside the conductor our net electric field is 0. Why it is? I have already explained in front of you why it is. Got it? So this is our first result. Now the second one will be come after the first. Got it? So I am repeating the one thing. Initially, student, E naught is greater than EP, but as well as the induction process increases, the value of EP increases. Cause of this, the flow of electron decreases. It means that it will go down, it will go up. Finally, the both values will be same, and which provide us the value of final electric field, which is equal to 0 in this situation. Got it? Now after that, the second part will be in front of you. Now after that, we talk here about the next result. Interior of the conductor can have no excess of charge in static situation. Means here we are talking about the second condition. In short, we can say that interior or inside the conductor there is no charge. Got it? So the same I am talking, the same diagram I have for you. This is our positive, this is our negative, and you know about it, how we will draw the diagram about this situation, the same condition. Okay, so here the direction of electron, here the direction of E naught, this is our EP, which is E net, which is equals to E naught minus EP, and the direction of EP is from the direction of this positive to negative, means opposite to the direction of E naught. Got it? So here the second point is that interior of a conductor can have no excess of charge in static situation, or you can write this statement in your own word. Inside the conductor no charge in static situation. Got it? In static situation. So for that we can consider in this condition, let us consider in this condition we can consider here inside the conductor an elementary area enclosed by elementary area ds enclosed by volume V. Got it? So that time we can use the Gauss theorem for this specific elementary area, so that we can get easily the value of Q, which is equal to 0. So let us consider an elementary area ds enclosed by volume V inside the conductor. So when I am assuming this elementary area inside the conductor, so therefore by using Gauss theorem, we can say d phi is equals to E dot ds, and as we have discussed about the whole surface area supposed to be S. So this theorem I will use for the whole surface integral E dot ds. Got it, student? And E dot ds means we are talking here about EDS cos theta. And we know that by using the Gauss theorem value, this phi E is equals to Q over epsilon naught, which is equals to EDS cos theta. And student, we know that inside the conductor E is equals to 0. Inside the conductor electric field is, inside the conductor E is equals to 0 from the previous result. So that we will get the value of integral of EDS. We will get here the value of E cos theta of ds as E equal to 0. So this will value equal to 0 and Q over epsilon naught. Finally we will get the value of Q after cross multiplication is equal to 0. So we can say that in static situation there is no charge inside the conductor. Got it? So after that we will talk here about the third result. So for that, pause the video and note down. The third result is electric field just outside the conductor is normal to the surface of conductor at every point. Means here we will talk about, suppose I will draw the diagram for it. Suppose student, this is the direction of electric field. Let us imagine the direction of electric field E, and in this electric field I have drawn the diagram of a surface. Just imagine the surface is touching the tangent, means that we are talking about here the tangent in which we will draw the direction of electric field by applying a tangent. Means when we draw a tangent on electric field lines, we will see the direction of electric field, as you know. And this electric field, if we compare with the surface, so this is the component of electric field at an angle theta known as E cos theta, and one is perpendicular of it known as E sin theta. So we have to show that here electric field just outside the conductor, this is our conductor, rough diagram for understanding, just outside the conductor is normal to the surface of the conductor at every point. We have to prove this statement. Then how we will prove this statement? We will show the proof of this statement with the help of flow of charges. As we know that when we place a conductor in the electric field, the charge will flow inside the conductor after rearrangement, and once after rearrangement the flow of charge stop. Then we will use the formula V is equals to, which we have done, as we know that D is equals to E x tau over m. Here Vd is the drift velocity of electrons or charges, you can say, as you know that the flow of electron inside the conductor or the flow of charge inside the conductor is not continuous, it is moving, it will move with the drift velocity. So that's why I will use this relation for proving this statement, in which we will show the electric field just outside the conductor is normal to it, normal to the surface of conductor at every point. So we can say that here, if the flow of charges inside the conductor stop after rearrangement of charges. After the rearrangement of charges, then the value of, you can say that the value of drift velocity Vd is equals to 0. Therefore, by formula which is in front of you, Vd is equals to Ex tau over m. It is the drift velocity of electron and the charge is electron here. So, which provide us the value as Vd is equal to 0, Ex tau is over m. It implies Ex equals to 0, means the component of electric field Ex is equal to 0, and this Ex, you know that Ex means E cos theta you are writing. Then how we will get? You can draw a tangent on the surface of it to show the direction of electric field which is crossing the electric field line like that. So you will get here, as I am talking, E cos theta is equal to 0. As we know that electric field can't be 0 here, it has some value. So the other one will be cos theta, which is equal to 0. This cannot be 0, so it will be 0, which give us theta is equals to 90 degree. So what is the angle between the electric field and the field lines? It is equals, means the surface and the field lines, it is equals to 90 degree. It means that the direction of E, or you can say that the electric field is normal to the surface, as we have here EDS, E dot ds means EDS cos 90. You can prove this value from the result which we have done earlier by Q naught over epsilon naught, which is the earlier one. So we can write it directly, as we have proved here theta is equals to 90. So therefore we can say that the electric field just outside the conductor is normal to the surface of conductor. Got it? So these are the different way, means the third result is proved, which is electric field just outside the conductor is normal to the surface of conductor, and we know inside the conductor it is equal to 0. Outside the conductor, just outside the conductor, it is normal to the surface. Got it? So this is normal. So if I am taking like this, so this is also normal to the surface. Means if their surface is this, so the electric field is normal to it. So this is our third result. And the fourth result, in which we will discuss about the electrostatic potential. So for that, pause the video and note down. Now the fourth one is about the electrostatic potential, which is electrostatic potential is constant inside the conductor. Electrostatic potential is constant throughout the volume inside the conductor and have same value in the surface, at all point in the surface. Okay, So for this we have different method to prove it, but here I am using the formula, by formula E is equals to modulus of this, means electric field and potential gradient relationship. And since inside the conductor we know, that E is equals to 0. So when I will use this relation, so it will give us 0 is equals to dV upon dr, means I will use this. This is the magnitude of this value. So from it we will see dV is equal to 0, and if dV is equal to 0, by integration, you know it very well, by integration you will get the value of V, which is equals to constant. It means that the value of electric potential or electrostatic potential is constant or same inside the surface of a conductor. Got it? Clear? So and same for all point means that we can also correlate this relation by the formula of 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. As V is equals to constant, so that time we can also say that R is equals to constant, means that at different radius we will see here the concentric equipotential surface, in which at same radius all points have same electrostatic potential. Got it? So we can say the electrostatic potential is constant and same for all point in the surface. Therefore electrostatic potential is constant and same for all points. It means that equipotential surface, equipotential surface I am dealing. Got it? So this is one of the result in which we have proved electrostatic potential is constant throughout the volume inside the conductor and have same value in the surface. Got it? So after that we will talk here about the next fifth case, case number 5, in which we will talk here about the electric field at the surface. So I am writing here electric field on the surface of conductor is E vector is equals to sigma over epsilon naught of n cap. Here sigma is the surface charge density, got it, and n cap is unit normal vector, is the unit normal vector, you know very well. So okay, so after that we will see here, to prove this result what we will do, we will consider a surface in which we will consider a Gaussian surface, cylindrical Gaussian surface, which have two surfaces. One is this part, this complete part is inside the surface, and this one is just outside the, means on the surface, you can say this one. So this is a inside part, this one. Got it? You can draw like this, and this is a on the surface area, means surface part, having area vector ds. In we know that n cap is a normal vector, normally outward direction. In the direction of E, you know very well, it is also perpendicular to the surface, which I have already explained means that the electric field just outside or on the surface of a conductor is normal to the surface, which I have proved in second condition. It is our fifth condition. This E will be perpendicular to the surface of this means surface of the conductor, which I am taking here, is normal to it. We know that very well. So for this we can say here, to prove this result, let us consider a cylindrical Gaussian surface. Got it? Cylindrical Gaussian surface in which we have the two spherical surfaces, means one cross sectional area is on the surface, other is inside the surface. So the region which is coming inside the surface have zero electric field, we know very well. So therefore we can say in which inside the conductor E is equal to 0, and outside the conductor the cross sectional area which I am drawing here by red color, outside the conductor E is not equal to 0. So E inside first, E outside second. Got it? So by using, and one more thing, the surface charge density for it is sigma. Sigma is the surface charge density, and we can add this thing also. Sigma is the surface charge density over the surface S, initially over the surface S when we are taking whole, and here we are taking this surface charge density for this elementary area ds, so I can write over the surface ds also. So by using Gauss theorem, phi E is equals to surface integral E ds, we know very well, and as we are talking about the outside region, by this theorem means we are talking here about outside the surface from the diagram, means outside the surface or just outside the surface or just outside the surface, or you can say on the surface. Very well, this language is fine. Means here on surface we can add. This is the condition of on surface. Just outside means on surface we can say. Okay, so on surface, on the surface, as we are using Gauss theorem, so I will use here the result of Gauss theorem, which is equal to phi E is equals to surface integral E dot ds, and E and ds both are in same direction, so it will be EDS, means EDS cos theta, theta is equals to 0 degree, so cos 0 is equals to 1, so that's why EDS is here. So phi E is equal to E dot ds. Now here I am talking about the elementary part ds, so this is for whole. So for the elementary condition I will replace the presentation of this formula on the surface for an elementary area. If I am using this elementary area here, so I will change the presentation of my formula, which is equals to T phi E is equal to E dot ts, and we know that theta is equal to 0, so it will be represented by this. Okay, Now after that, student, see here, as we know that by Gauss theorem, if suppose Q be the charge, okay, for it, so I will use this formula, Q over epsilon naught is equals to E dot ds, and this ds will come down. E is equal to Q over ds into epsilon naught, and this Q over d epsilon naught is equal to our sigma ds. Q over ds is equals to our sigma. It is called surface charge density, and here the surface I am taking, which is elementary surface. So for it, the final one is E is equals to sigma over epsilon naught. Now if I am writing this formula in vector form, then I will use vector symbol sigma over epsilon naught with unit normal vector n cap. Got it? So this is representing us about the value of electric field on the surface. I have here used all the results, previous results, by which we can say E is normal to the surface, or here the surface is ds, so it will also normal to it, and ds vector is the area vector which is already perpendicular to the given surface. Okay, so by the statement of these two, we can say E and ds both are in same direction. That's why I have written this whole thing. And I using Gauss theorem, I use this result, which is equals to Q over epsilon naught for this elementary surface area. Got it, student? So this one is the result of our fifth statement, in which I have proved electric field on the surface of a conductor is E vector is equal to sigma over epsilon naught of n vector n cap. Got it? Where sigma denotes us about the surface charge density and n cap is unit normal vector. Then after we will talk here about the next condition, in which we will say that the surface charge density on different point of the surface is different. It is due to the rearrangement of charges. Okay, so for it, pause the video and note down that student will talk here about the fifth condition, sixth condition, not fifth, is surface charge density. Surface charge density is different for different points, and we are talking about inside the conductor condition, inside the conductor, this condition, surface charge density, which is sigma Q over A, is different for different points. Student, what happened in this condition? From the first condition, I will explain. When I place a conductor in an external electric field, then due to the flow of electrons, which is from the negative terminal to the positive terminal of a conductor, the charges of the conductor rearrange, or you can say that the rearrangement of charges in the conductor occurs. Cause of this, the charge per unit area is different for different points. Means where the sigma, where the Q will be, when the Q will be positive, means charge will be positive, sigma will be positive, so we will get the positive surface charge density. And similarly at the places where Q is equals to negative, means the charge, because the rearrangement occurs during the flow of electrons, so the charges where the charge is negative, so we will get here negative surface charge densities. And the place supposed to be, I am taking about the place, as we know that the surface charge density sigma is equal to Q over A. The place, if suppose I am taking a place or region of small radius of curvature or small radius, so that time the radius is small, it will provide us small area, and if the area is small, so we will get here large surface charge density. So as the radius or area changes, the value of sigma will be changes. So the reason is simple, the rearrangement of charges due to the flow of negative charge. So I will write the things here. When a conductor is placed inside the external electric field, E naught, due to the flow of negative charges, means electrons, due to the flow of negative charges, rearrangement of charges in conductor inside the conductor. Rearrangement of charges inside the conductor occurs. Cause of this, surface charge density means charge per unit area changes, or you can say that different and different places, different for different points. Means we can say it means sigma will be positive if Q is equals to positive, and sigma will be negative if Q is equals to negative, and if R means, here I am taking the radius of the elementary area which I am considering inside the surface is small, A will also small, area of it also small, which implies by the formula sigma is equals to Q upon A. Sigma, which is our surface charge density, is large as compared to R. ठीक है, large comparatively R. Hence, for all different points, as a result, we can say, hence, as a result, at different value, at different points, because the area of cross section is changeable due to the rearrangement, at different points we will obtain different value of sigma. Got it, student? So for that, pause the video and note down. Thanks for watching this video.